I never say never with Howie because he just likes to do stuff. He likes to be active, so to speak. I don't think it's going to be anything uh, eye popping.
John McMullen and Jody McDonald, your Mac and Mac Arts 365 guys. Appreciate you streaming on in. Hey, hit that like button. Why not? Unless you truly hate us. And if you hate us, why the hell are you streaming in with us anyway? If you're here, you might as well give us a little bit of a pop and give us a little help with our, what is it, algorithm, John?
Algorithm.
YouTube stuff goes over my head, but you could boost our algorithm a little bit if you hit that like button. If you're an Eagles fan and you're happy about being 6-0, even though John and I have exactly zero to do with that, but one of the two of us did actually pick the Eagles to go to the Super Bowl before the year started. I'm just saying.
I did not do that, but I did for all the people that say I'm a hater. I have picked them every week, so I picked them to go 6-0.
Yeah, you're 6-0. I'm 6-0. I'm
sometimes 5-1. I didn't pick them to beat the spread, and I've been.
But you did this past week.
Yes,
you had them. You had them winning by 9. I had them winning by 7. So of course, Eagles won by 8, right in the middle. Yeah. Split the difference between you and I. So we both had the Eagles winning and covering at 6.5. Which, oh, by the way, Brett Maher lining up that 50-some-odd yarder late in the game. I thought my wager was dead in the water.
Yeah,
I thought Maher was making the Eagles going to win the game. They did what they had to do. It's a strategy that's been used before. Kick the field goal and then try the onside kick.
I like that strategy, by the way.
Yeah, and some people just don't get it. Yeah, you down by that, man? You got to get the touchdown first. Yeah. No, you don't. You got to get 2 scores. So it doesn't matter which order they come in. If you got to take the field goal first, so be it. Here's the problem. You got to make the field goal. And Brett Maher didn't. Thank you, Brett, because I had the Eagles.
And I think that was 59 yards. So, yeah, I don't know about the odds in that. I believe it was 59 yards. Correct me if I'm wrong. But that, to me, is a little bit too long.
Maher's got that kind of leg, though. And oh, by the way, it had the distance. It would have got over the crossbar.
Now, but Justin Tucker, who missed one, I think, this week. But typically, I'd let him do whatever he wants. But certain other guys. Who was the New Orleans kicker? Made a 60-yarder in London, and then he almost made another 60-yarder. The double doink. That was pretty impressive. Will Lutz. Will Lutz, yeah.
And Butker made one from 60.
Oh, yeah, 62, I think, Butker. Yeah.
So we're seeing 60s, and I thought Maher had a chance to make that one. But for those of you who not only root for the Eagles, but maybe also wager on the Eagles, you got the double W this week, the win and the cover, if you were banking on your Philadelphia Eagles. All right, a bye week, Johnny Mac. We know that the players get downtime. A whole bunch of them will be coming into the facility for rehab purposes. We talked about Mailata in hour number 1 that as well as he played and neutralizing Big Mouth DeMarcus Lawrence, he admitted after the game, despite proudly coming from Stoutland University, pain is pain is pain. Doesn't matter how much tutelage you get at Stoutland University, you can still be asked to play in pain. And he did just that and did it quite well. Some guys will be in for rehab stuff, but other than that, Eagles getting downtime. Not Howie Roseman. He might very well be busy. It's a Tuesday, so it's 2 weeks from tomorrow. Today's Tuesday. 2 weeks from today is the NFL trade deadline. In comparison to both Major League Baseball, the NBA, and even the NHL, which has their trade deadline way late in the season. The strategic placing of the trade deadline always fascinates me. The NFL has done a great job because they've continually moved it back. They've noticed that there aren't too many things that the NFL trails other sports in. One of them has been buzz around the trade deadline date. You and I have been around long enough. The trade deadline used to be like after week 3. It was ridiculously early in the season. So you couldn't even evaluate whether your team was good enough that you were going to make a playoff run and you could upgrade and should upgrade and be willing to give up draft pick. They've strategically moved it back over the years. So now it's going to come up 2 weeks from now into November. Eagles going to be active at the trade deadline? Is Howie Roseman certainly done that before. The name that gets most often mentioned, I would say, was Jay Ajayi, which was a key addition in the Super Bowl year. You think they're going there this year, J-Mac?
I never say never with Howie because he just likes to do stuff. He likes to be active, so to speak. I don't think it's going to be anything eye-popping, special teams. I mean, he might pick up a special teams player. If he can do something that can help this football team win, and everybody brings up Jay Ajayi. I do think it's different. You mentioned some of the other sports. Baseball, basketball specifically, I think it's easier to integrate people than football midseason, and certainly at certain positions, like running back Jay Ajayi. You bring up, it's easier to integrate a running back than it is a wide receiver. Golden Tate, it didn't work out very well. Same thing on defense. It's not as easy to integrate. You saw Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. They acquired him late in the process. You see some growing pains. Now it's starting to get a little bit better. So I don't think there's going to be a big splash, but he likes to be active. So you can always, if something comes across his desk, and it could be something as simple as a special teams player. Sure, he's always checking into things, but for people hoping for Christian McCaffrey, no. Brian Burns has been why would Carolina trade Brian Burns? I mean, that's a young player you want to build on. And where's he going to fit into this team? I don't want to mess with this team. As far as the core of this team, I don't want to mess with it. I don't want to mess with it at all. And I think Howie's smart enough to don't mess with the core. If you can add somebody who makes you different, a role player, a special teams player, yeah. But as far as a splash, no, I don't. This team's too good. Don't mess with it.
I agree with you, John. The thing that's most telling to me is, who's he replacing? What guy are you going to go out that is going to step in and you're going to take out of your lineup? And I'm talking offense or defense. I'm not talking special teams. And say, we're upgrading at this position by acquiring this player because we need to replace this player. I don't think they have a player on this team that they're starting 22 right now where you say, we need to upgrade that spot. He's okay. Maybe even you say he's good, but we can get a very good or a great player at that position. We need to do it because we should upgrade at that spot. I don't think they have that on the 22 starters right now. There isn't the guy where you say, but here's the one place where they could get better. I don't know that they have that. So, what it comes down to is basically, can Howie find out, figure out, and then give a legit price, not overpay, but not underpay, for a special teams guy. And that's not easy. That's some heavy lifting that Howie's going to have to do. He's going to have to depend on his scouting staff that have noticed that this guy is a value at a special team spot. That's more scouting than it is just he's got 4 special teams tackles. Really, you going to use the analytics to figure that one out? No, it's got to be done on a scouting level. That's, I think, the only thing that Howie could or should be doing to upgrade this team in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, even somebody like Burns, and I bring him up because obviously the Carolina fired Matt Rule. Our buddy Mike Kay's down there now covering the Panthers for the Charlotte Observer. So, kind of have an insight on that team. He's like, they're not going to trade him, but you could argue he'd be better long term than, say, Josh Sweat. But why would you do it in season? Even if they were willing to trade, it would cost an unbelievable amount. You have the growing pains of getting somebody talented in season. You're replacing a really good player with maybe a slightly better player with a bigger upside, who's healthier long term, all that, blah, blah, blah. but it just doesn't make any sense. And Christian McCaffrey, as I've always said, same thing. Panthers fired their coach, fire sale. They already traded Robbie Anderson. They want to get out of the McCaffrey business because they pay him all this money and he's always hurt. The Eagles loved him coming out of the draft. Nobody questions his talent. He is the most well-rounded running back in the NFL when he's on the field, which isn't often. But why are you going to mess with the season Miles Sanders is having for that kind of price tag and what it's going to cost to acquire him? I really don't think a lot of people think these things out past that's a good player. I want that player.
And here's the thing about Burns. You didn't touch on, you gave us 2 or 3 legit reasons why it probably doesn't add up. He's on the last year of his rookie deal, which means he's going to get paid. If you want to keep him, and why would you want to rent a guy like that for the price it's going to cost and then say, all right, we make our Super Bowl run. If not, yeah, we can't quite afford him. We're going to let him walk away because we're already committed to Sweat. We're already committed to Hassan Reddick. We can't pay over $10 million per for another defensive end. That's part of the problem. And if you say, oh, the cap's going up, Howie Roseman's great managing the cap. Well, he usually is, but how much of an increase are they looking at quarterback? What is Jalen Hurts playing for this year? Johnny Mack as a 2nd-round draft pick on the 3rd year of his rookie deal. What's he pulling down this year?
Far less than 2, closer to 1 million.
I was going to say it's under 2. I know it's under 2.
It's under 2. Yeah.
Right. And next year he's going to play at a significantly smaller number again. But then, oh my God, is it going up? We're looking, as of right now, it's 40 plus, right? He's looking at 40 million plus.
Oh yeah.
The question
and by the way, you
50.
talked about extensions in general, because they have a lot of people they have to address. TJ Edwards, Bradbury, Kaiser White, all those defenders on 1-year deals, on and on and on. Miles Sanders now, you got to talk about him back in the conversation, having a great year. This is not the time to work out extensions when you're 6-0. I mean, as a GM, you're not hoping you're losing games, but you're also know when your leverage is highest. And believe me, Howie knows when his leverage is highest, and it is not right now at this particular moment.
Understood. All right, let's take a quickie time out here, John. Then we'll come back. Let's go through some of these guys.
By the way, we got Bob Groats. I don't know if you saw late edition. Bob.
I did not know. Groats is coming up next.
Yeah. So hopefully, we'll do a break. We'll get to it with Bob. We'll see what he thinks, because that's interesting. The extension conversation.
Bob Groats going to join us next. Before we go to commercial, and maybe Groats isn't listening yet. Who was the first one to ask him about Bradbury on Monday night? Sunday.
It was either me or Kratz, probably.
Okay, good. Yeah. We love Groats. I love Groats, but he just missed the boat on Bradbury's not that good because he missed that tackle in the opener against the Lions. He's been Pro Bowl, all pro level since that missed tackle against the Lions. Phenomenal. I think he's actually been better than Big Play Slay. I know Big Play gets the interceptions, but just pure coverage, Bradbury's been every bit as good as Don't Call Me Darius Slay. We'll come back, talk to Bob Groats. He's up next here on Birds 365.